When you talk about values that supported my recovery, when I talk to you about where I see myself in 5 years, it is because of the values that I have. I am the granddaughter of a slave, and my mother had a lot of impact on me, but really, my grandmother and the way that they lived had a big impact on me. And so it's hard to understand this, but when I became addicted, I felt so far away from the values of my grandparents. My grandparents were sharecroppers in deep, deep Mississippi. They were people that were very strong, very purposeful. They worked hard, had a very strong education value. Um, they were church folks. Just, I have the greatest of respect for my grandparents and my mother too, and all of my family, but really the values that were shared in me as a child. I felt so far away from that. And so living has brought those values back to me. I think that they're very, very important. And I think that we the outcomes that we're going to get from just realizing what those values are and living them is very, very important. My focus is on the future, where this nation is going, what's going to be there for my grandchildren and many children, the level of adverse experiences that kids have had, the things that men and women are going through that are very silent. There's a lot of silent things. So my values are based upon building up people, helping them to be able to get a certain age and be comfortable. I remember years ago when I met my father, I didn't grow up with my father. I never knew my father. I only knew my mother. And my mother was what you would say very straight laced. My whole family was very religious. But when I met my father, he was totally different. He was a street person, very smart, but very shrewd. And he said to me at some point, and two older people said this to me: take care of your children. Stop using drugs. Take care of those kids, because what happens is that's going to rub off on them. And I didn't listen right away, but I did listen. And when I see what happens when you get older, and how, as you get older, the things that mattered to you when you were 20, 30, 40, 50, even going into your 60s, are very different than the life you're going to live if you live long enough to be 70. That's when the chickens come home to roost. And it's hard to understand that, but when I say that there's things that I want to share, I spent 20 years in a skilled care nursing facility where I saw people that had their lives changed in a matter of moments. They went from independent to dependent to actually being alone. Because when you're in a place like that, after a while, people really don't visit. And that's when you meet the consequences a lot of times of your life. And it's important to have strong values. So my values around faith in God, around family, and around really equipping people to be able to live, and to live with a level of joy and peace in their life is very, very important. Um, and I do believe that as you help others, you help yourself. So those are my values. Very family oriented, very service oriented. And I want to share the importance of those things the importance of those things that can give you peace all through your life, and what a real achievement is. A lot of times achievement is not about, it's not about money, it's not about flash. In this life, I also recruited celebrities at one time, and I got to see what values that are weather the storm are and what they're not. I saw people lose their careers that meant everything to them, be it in sports, being in acting, singing, and then be able to find themselves and find a joy that goes beyond that. So those are my values. I have very strong values, and I think it's very important.